What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined as always by Tyler Stafford and a very special guest on this Sunday afternoon, new Astros pitcher Ryan Weiss. Ryan, appreciate you taking some time out of your offseason to talk to us. How are you doing? And have things settled down yet a little bit? Because I'm sure this offseason's been pretty crazy for you.
Yeah, first and foremost, thanks for having me, guys. In terms of have things settled down, I would say they have not settled down. I think that's kind of normal coming back from Asia, though. It seems like you need at least like a week or two to get your feet like ready from jet lag, and then it's like there's been a lot going on, but it's been a lot of good, so it's hard to complain.
I would encourage everyone that's listening, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on the audio platforms, to go give Ryan a follow on TikTok. I'm not sure.
Oh, yes, I'm in.
I'm not sure how many people, I'm not sure how many of our pod listeners are TikTok people, but Ryan is a TikTok guy. His handle is Ryan M. Weiss. Would highly recommend giving Ryan a follow for a couple reasons. One, it allows you to get to know him a little bit, allows you to really get some insight onto his experience in KBO in Korea. But I think it also tells your backstory probably better than, we could be beat around the bush with it. You've got such a remarkable story of perseverance and kind of how you have gotten to this point. So I guess I wonder, given all of that, given everything you've had to endure going to Asia, everything you had to endure in your amateur life, before you got to college, things like that, how fulfilling is it now to have a guaranteed major league contract in your hands, a place on a 40-man roster, and a spot in a big league rotation waiting for you when you get to West Palm Beach?
In terms of the TikTok stuff, I can't take any of that credit. My wife, she kills it. She does such a good job. I probably don't even know how to post TikTok, to be honest with you. But in terms of like the fulfillment, I think if you asked me that like a couple of years ago, I would have been like, this is everything. But now it's just not I just feel like I've matured a lot, and I don't idolize baseball the way that I used to. I think like Christ has just become a huge part of my life, and everything goes to him. And so, it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to get there, but I've been on a lot of different teams within the last few years. So I'm just excited to kind of get to know my new teammates and just talk shop in the clubhouse and honestly just go win games.
So I have a question. So, for those that don't know, Ryan, you've been over in both China and then, the Atlantic League as well, and then Korea. So I have a question. Like in the last 2 years, you were dominant over there. Like you were, just crushing people. What is it like going from, okay, I obviously I've seen your college stats and stuff. You were just ridiculous. You're redshirt freshman. You're hitting bombs, striking people out or whatever. But I feel like you've had this kind of career where you've gone from, okay, top of the team, like I'm the lead guy, to just a guy in the minor leagues, to not even making it, then going back, being this huge part of this team over here, to now being on an Astros team where, that's not going to be the first 15 names on opening day that anyone is, thinking of, not in a bad way, but just that's the way that the team is set up. How do you adjust who you are in the clubhouse depending on the people you're around? Does that make sense? Like, how do you fill those roles?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think the younger me tried to be a little bit more like a chameleon and try to fit in different areas. But now, like, I'm just going to be me. If you like that, great. If not, like, everyone's different. So it's like you in some regard, like every one of your teammates is your coworker, but at the same time, they can become your brother. So it's like, it's a very interesting dynamic. And I think going to indie ball and then going to Korea, I think that really was like super weird, going from 35 guys or 30 guys that speak fluent English to nobody speaking fluent English, or maybe like one or two guys. And so I was pretty blessed. There's a couple guys on my team that in Korea that spoke really good English. And that was really cool because their English last year was okay. But this year, because they got to practice a lot, it got a lot better. So that was pretty cool to kind of witness. But yeah, I would just say be myself, and hopefully that's good enough.
You last pitched in affiliated ball in stateside. You last pitched in affiliated ball in 2023.
Yeah.
How different are you now? How different is the pitcher now that was from when you were here in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, first off, when I was in most of 22 and then 23, I was a reliever. I don't like being a reliever. I believe that I'm a starter. We had some really good prospects that were coming up with the D-backs, and I kind of hit a struggle in 21, and that kind of kicked me to the bullpen. And those guys are doing really well now. I mean, that's just kind of nature of the game, and they were throwing better than I was, so they deserved that spot and they earned it. And so being able to go back to being a starter, I like the routine. I like knowing I'm going to get the ball every 5 or 6 days, and I like knowing that I'm going to be able to flip the order over, hopefully on a good day 4 times, worst case 3, right? But I just like to compete, and I hate going to pitch for 1 inning or 2 innings, because once I get a sweat going, I'm like, all right, like now we're in rhythm, like now we're kind of in the zone. Like sometimes it takes a little bit for starting pitchers. So yeah, I would just say being a starter has been a lot more freeing for me. It's been a lot more fun.
Is that what made the Astros so attractive to you? Is because, I mean, they have opportunities to start. This is a place that obviously needs rotation help, and just in general, your conversations with the Astros, what intrigued you the most about them? Because you had substantial interest from a lot of other teams as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I think the way that Dana was speaking, just the way that he kind of showed that he believes in me, and that he kind of, for lack of a better term, like he knows what he sees, and like I believe in myself, and I know there's a lot of people that believe in a lot of other guys, but I do best when someone really believes in me, and when I know the coaching staff and the team is behind me. That really helps. Whenever I'm in a situation where it's like, oh, if you don't do well today, you might be out the door. Like that's a different kind of pressure. Like I'd rather pitch in a championship setting to where like it really matters than like, oh, your life's on the line. You know what I mean? Like I don't really think that's fun, and that's kind of how it is in the minors. And so I was very willing to go back overseas. I mean, my wife and I, we love it over there in Korea, and so we just at the end of the day decided that it had to be a really good opportunity in the States, and that's kind of what it was. So that's why we decided to do it.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, obviously, I would assume that you love playing overseas. You wouldn't keep doing it if you didn't want to. The city that you were in is Daejeon?
Yeah,
Daejeon?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, so I've Googled the just TripAdvisor things to do. Do you have a DeJohno World story? Do you know that place?
I do not.
Dude, okay. Well, it's number 4. So if you get back over there, it looks like Disney World, but it's an amusement park.
Interesting. I'm more of like we like to do a lot of things, but in terms of like restaurants, the 9, it's kind of right outside of Daejeon. Outstanding. I mean, the Korean barbecue there, it just doesn't mess around. There's no comp for it. It's unreal.
So, I mean, you're like, what are you doing other than? I mean, I know what you're doing during games, but like, what does life look like for you just living over there?
Yeah. It just depends. If we have an off day and we're home that next day, then we can. One of the bullpen catchers and I, and with my translator, we went fishing one day. Just kind of scoping it out, kind of seeing what's out there. Just visiting different places. There's a lot of bakeries over there. Like Sungchundang is like a really famous bakery in Daejeon, so we go there and just kind of walk around and just kind of try to learn stuff. I mean, it's so different. It was cool when we were in Seoul, just being able to go to the different museums and things that they have out there. Like when you're walking into it, you're like this, like it's just so much bigger than you, and it's just really cool because there's way more history in Korea than there is in America, which is like, for Americans, it's probably wild to think about. But yeah, I mean, it's just super interesting, super cool.
Did you enjoy the nickname that you got in Daejeon? You are Daejeon Jesus.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, especially being a follower, like it was. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously an honor, but like I don't put myself in that same category at all. Right. So it was like when people are like, "Oh, you're like saving," it's like y'all need to chill. Like like I'm just Ryan. Like I'm not even Ryan the baseball player. I'm just Ryan. Like I'm just trying to go out there and try to win a ball game. And so like when people were doing that, it was kind of a way for me to lead them towards Christ in a little bit, like just trying to give God the glory. But at the end of the day, I'm like, y'all need to chill. Like,
How
I
would
mean, the long hair and beard isn't doing you any favors. That
yeah,
you kind of brought that
beard's
on
pretty
yourself.
bad. Only like right here. If I show you the side, then you'll start judging me. It's pretty bad. But
as someone that pitched an affiliated ball for as long as you did, and then went to KBO, how can you compare maybe the talent level? I know you haven't pitched in the big leagues yet, but you've pitched in AAA. You've pitched extensively in AAA, AA. How would you compare the talent in KBO to affiliated ball, and kind of what do you think maybe as you get back into affiliated ball and you get to the big leagues, what do you think maybe the biggest adjustments will be for you going from that league back to the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the baseball, we all kind of know how baseball is nowadays. It's more like fans and owners, like they want to see home runs. And I haven't been there in the last 2 years, so I can't speak too much of how the last 2 years have been. But they just play like solid fundamental baseball. If there's a guy on second, they're trying to push him over, or like they're trying to like have something to the right side. And so that kind of taught me like, okay, I got to go in, I got to go out. Like you can't outstuff people. Like, I mean, you still can, like if you got really good stuff, you can, but it just kind of allowed me to pitch more. And so I think the biggest adjustment coming back to the States is probably just going to be having a lot of guys that can speak English in the clubhouse. Like, it sounds crazy, but that's just what it is. It's going to be weird not having a translator by my side at all times.
I think your first batting practice with Yordan Alvarez might sound a little different than some of the ones in the KBO.
I'm telling you, he's got juice, but there's some guys out there that can hit it too.
Yeah.
Did you have a pre-existing relationship with anyone with the Astros? Do you know anyone as you're walking into this clubhouse?
I was in spring training with Christian Walker in 22 with the D-backs, but I wasn't there for long, so yeah, I got sent down pretty quickly. So,
for Astros fans that are listening to this, have not really seen you pitch, have not really know much about your arsenal, kind of how you get guys out. Describe yourself as a pitcher. Describe what you. Give us your arsenal and give us kind of maybe what you think your strengths are when you're on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, I four-seam, fastball, slider, curveball, and then changeup. So I mean, I feel like pretty standard, like a lot of guys. But I just try to compete in the zone. I don't like walking guys. I don't like giving up free bases. I really just want to compete, really. And if I get beat, I want you to beat me. I don't want to beat myself. I don't want to give you free bases. I don't want to hit you. I don't like that's just not fun. But nobody wants to watch that either. So yeah, I just like to compete no matter who it is, and I think that's probably why I'm still playing this game, is just because I like to compete.
Yeah, I got news for you. You also throw a sinker. You just might not know it yet, but sometimes that's coming for you.
Sometimes it'll go a little bit. But
yeah.
That's
part of wearing the uniform here. I think that just comes standard in the locker room. They throw a sinker at you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So, like, obviously, the Astros are pretty renowned for they get pitchers and they make them better. They get good pitchers and make them great. They get average pitchers and make them good. Like they have got a track record of doing this for the past 10 years. I guess I wonder, when you were talking to them, when you were negotiating with them, or maybe even when you got up here to take your physical and you got to meet some people, were they able to, or did they offer you some insights as to what they may? I don't know if tinker is the right word, just some things they may want to try with you, some pitch shapes, some pitch locations. Did you guys talk about that at all, or is that gonna wait till spring training?
Yeah, that's probably gonna wait till spring. I know at least at first, just kind of putting faces to names and just getting introduced to several people, and then just trying to learn each other, learn how each other work. Like there's some guys that don't like coaching at all, and that's fine. They do really well, and there's some guys that want everything. I'm kind of a guy. I'm very coachable. I'll just if you have a reason on why you want me to do something and why it might work, then let's just be mature, have a conversation about it, and kind of see where that goes. But yeah, I'm super interested. I know it's a great organization, and I mean it's gonna be exciting. I don't know how they like you said they just get guys better. I don't know how they do it, so I'm kind of eager to see how that goes down. But yeah, hopefully they can help me and I can help them.
one thing you keep mentioning about, being in KBO is, you didn't have a bunch of people around you that spoke English. Did you learn any Korean? How is your Korean? Did you learn any?
Mine's pretty bad. Mine's pretty
Okay.
bad. I pretty much only know the bad words, and then my wife, she's pretty fluent actually. She could probably hold like a 15 to 20-minute conversation in Korean. Like it's super impressive. But yeah, I'm pretty worthless in that regard.
I think that's how I am with baseball Spanish at this point. Like I know enough baseball Spanish to like I know what people are saying. And I know the curse words, but I don't think I know. I don't think I know much else. Did the team give you an interpreter when you went over there? Or did you have to bring one on your own?
No, that would be really hard. I wouldn't even know how I would navigate that. They provided one last year, and then I ended up having the same one from last year that I did this past year. So like a year and a half with the same guy. It was really cool. I mean, you just get to know each other, and it's kind of funny, like that dynamic when he comes to the mound, because like him and I just joke around all the time usually. And then it's like when it's time for him to be serious, I'm like just kind of looking at him like, are you going to like say something weird, or like you can like actually deliver the message? But he was really good. I mean, I don't think I could have had the success out there. Definitely without my wife, but without him, I mean, he was awesome.
Do you have a favorite K-pop Demon Hunters song?
Golden. I mean, it's electric.
Of course, yeah.
It's electric.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. One thing that's always been interesting to me, and I think we're seeing it more and more as Japanese players obviously become more prevalent and are covered more widely in the States, is the way that, well, certainly the Japanese media, but also just I think Asian media at large covers the sport.
Mm-hmm.
They ask very specific questions. Like they want to know like specifically like why you threw this pitch in this. Like it's a very different way. If you
it's like an art over there. Like they don't, and it's really cool. Like that's how they treat it. It's like, okay, how you pitched today was good. Not like, oh, your game was good. You know what I mean? Like the counts matter. Sorry to cut you off.
No, and that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, I don't know how much media exposure you got. I mean, you did obviously stateside, but what was the difference in kind of the questions they were asking you and kind of what they wanted to know about what went on in the game? Because from my vantage point, like when I go into a clubhouse after a game, like I'm searching for the why. Like, why did this result happen? Why did this guy have such a good game? Why did this guy have such a poor game? You know, whatever. Like, it's like if you've ever been in a scrum talking to Ohtani or talking to Yamamoto or any of these guys, it is the way they cover and talk about the game could not be different than the way American media does it.
Yeah, it's honestly like it's beautiful the way they do it. They think about it differently, and I think I would say it was easier for me because like it was the catcher that did all the hard work. Like he's the one that like on the bus rides, like I can see him on his phone just like looking at the next team for the next game. And it was like catchers are just different. Like they just love baseball. And the reason on why he wants to throw a certain pitch and why, like I don't really question it. I'm a KISS guy, keep it simple, stupid. So like I just really try to trust the catcher, and if I shake and he puts it down again, I'm like, all right, like I'm sorry, like dang, I'm sorry. And so I mean, it was pretty much them. Like they're the reason why I had success. So it was. I feel like those questions were easy for me to navigate because I'd be like, oh, it was my catcher.
Yeah, it's always been interesting to me. Like sharing press boxes now with a lot of Asian media and a lot of like especially Japanese reporters that come in and certainly think about the game in a different way. But it's I think beautiful is a perfect way to say it because they appreciate the art of the game when I don't think that gets appreciated a lot just in the coverage stateside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's more like talent here. I feel like it's like they're just super talented. Whereas there, it's like your pitch design and the way you can spin the ball and manipulate the ball. Like even the players out there, the ones that don't speak English are coming up and asking questions. And it's like, that's like a very vulnerable place to be as someone who doesn't know the language, like asking a question and understanding the answer. So, I mean, they just love to learn. I mean, they love to learn out there and they don't really have a lot of pride. Like if a guy's working on another pitch, like he's not afraid to work on 2 other pitches, but not use them. Like they're just not afraid.
All right. Well, Chandler, you're going to be in there. So I'm going to text you like a 2.5 minute long question to ask Ryan after his first start. Just extremely detailed.
Yeah.
Every thought in the game.
We'll see who's catching me.
I do wonder, Tyler just referenced after your first start. That will be your major league debut. Has that kind of hit you yet, or do you think it'll maybe wait till like the day it actually happens?
Nah, I think when I was on the 40-man with the D-backs, I was itching. I was itching to get up. Same with the Royals. I was itching. I put so much thought into, it's going to sound funny, but like what I was going to wear to the stadium on my debut. I was like all into it. And now I just like, I think I thought about it too much to where it was like unhealthy. And like, that's why going to Korea was so good for me, because I just completely removed myself from like all of that. And so, I mean, it's like I said, it'll be cool, I think. But like, I just want to pitch. I just want to compete, and hopefully we win. Like, that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
I'm curious what allowed your mind to shift. Like, was it simply going to Korea, or was it like what allowed you to make that such a drastic change? Because that does seem pretty like a drastic difference in the way of thinking.
Yeah, I just think I was idolizing it. I don't think I was as secure in myself and whatnot, and I was just idolizing the thought of being a big leaguer. And I was like, it's really like, I'd rather be a better person, which I try to be. I'm probably not, but I try to be a better person. And then like baseball will be what it's going to be. And I'm just going to trust in God and trust that whatever plan he has is what I'm supposed to do. And if this is where he wants me to be, then I just want to be able to impact people around me. And yeah, like what I want to say, I probably shouldn't. So yeah, that's probably a good
Cool.
answer.
Good answer. Media training already.
I don't know about all that.
Ryan, this has been excellent. We appreciate you taking time to talk to us today. We told you we'd keep you 15 to 20 minutes. We're going up to 22 minutes now. So we like to be true in what we say. So
that's about the shortest Chandler's done, actually.
Yeah,
because
right.
normally he lies, and then we're here 2.5 times what he says. So he got you out on time today.
He didn't like my answers. He said we got to get.
Yeah, that's what he was. He was okay. Enough of this.
Don't put words in my mouth. Come on, that's not cool. Ryan, again, this was excellent. Again, if you want to see Ryan and his wife's work on TikTok,
mainly her, yeah.
Ryan M. Weiss on TikTok. I think that will allow a lot of you to really appreciate kind of what it was like in KBO, how Ryan got to this point. And you can know a lot more about him before reporting to West Palm Beach in February for spring training with the Astros. Ryan, this was great. Thank you so much for the time, and enjoy the rest of your offseason.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Tyler, how dare you? He's never met me, and now you're trying to turn him against me.
And he's like, and all these American media people are idiots,
Oh, yeah. He just met me, so it's he stands for
he was great. That was fun.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. Appreciate Ryan. Appreciate him for taking some time. I know it's the off season. I know he's got many other things he could do, many other things he could be doing instead of talking to two idiots like us. So that's nice of him. And it also allows us to, keep content going when there's nothing going on, because the Astros ended the winter meetings with one notable thing. They picked Roddery Munoz in the major league portion of the Rule 5 draft. They haven't done this in a while. They haven't had a major league Rule 5 pick, I believe, since Anthony Gose in 2017. That was the hitter that was trying to convert into a pitcher. Yeah. So a little refresher on how the Rule 5 draft works on the major league phase of the Rule 5 draft. If you do what the Astros did and you take a player in the major league phase of the Rule 5 draft, so that's Roddery Munoz, he has got to remain on the Astros 26-man roster all season, or else he is going to be offered back to the club they took him from. That club was the Cincinnati Reds. He was on the Reds. I think he was in DFA limbo. He was in the Reds organization, so he'd be offered back to them. The Astros also gave the Reds $100,000 to make the pick. I believe if they offer him back to the Reds, they get $50,000 of it back. So again, splitting hairs with money, but Roddery Munoz will be someone that they're going to bring him to camp. And obviously, he's got to stay on the 26-man roster. So he'll have a leg up on a lot of the guys trying to win bullpen spots. They do envision him as a reliever. They envision him as kind of a high leverage reliever. This is a guy that does have major league experience. appeared in 27 big league games. He started 17 of them, but he was a more traditional reliever with the Cardinals last year. They really like the breaking ball. They think they can get him around the zone a little bit. Again, the Astros have morphed into one of these places where if they take a pitcher that they like, I just presume he's going to come to spring training and be a lot better than the Baseball Reference indicates he is. So they have that with Roddery Munoz, who was their only addition at the winter meetings.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Baseball Savant page. Lots of whiffs and strikeouts, not a lot of other things, but that certainly seems like the type of pitcher that if you can unlock something, he's already getting, a ton of whiffs on pitches. So if you can, like you said, get him around the zone some more, maybe cut back on the pitch usage. He used 5 different pitches pretty regularly last year. I would imagine that the Astros want him to really focus on a handful of them coming out of the bullpen. But yeah, we'll see. And like you said, he's got to stay there the whole time. And I mean, if they try to, or if they take him off, he just, like you said, goes back to the Reds or whatever. And I don't know the percentages on this, but it's not the majority of people that are picked in a Rule 5 draft that stay with the team that drafted them, right? Like most of them end up going back.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of rebuilding teams do this, right? You see a lot of teams that are not trying to win, like take advantage of the major league portion of the Rule 5 draft because they've got spots and like they can afford to give these dudes runway because they don't care if they win or lose at the big league level. So it's like if they get a couple of these dudes in the Rule 5 draft and they unlock something in them, it's like, oh, we got found money here. Like we got this guy. Like they have the runway to do that. Now, normally you don't see teams that are contenders or that want to contend be very heavily involved in the Rule 5 draft. Some of the bigger success stories you've seen in the Rule 5 draft, Garrett Whitlock a couple of years ago, I think the Red Sox took him from the Yankees in the Rule 5 draft, and he turned into a really nice reliever. I think Brad Keller was a Major League Rule 5 pick.
Josh Fields, which, helped the Astros out a bit eventually, but he was a Rule 5 pick.
That helped. Shane Smith, who was an all-star for the White Sox this past year. I think he was an all-star, but yeah, he was a Rule 5 pick. But again, like the theme is like, it's usually teams that don't plan on contending, that have playing time to give, and that don't really worry about per se like roster spots because they have runway to give these guys. Now, I mean, Roddery Munoz the Astros would have run if he comes to camp and pitches well. Like they've got, you can never have enough relievers, right? You can never have enough pitching, never have enough of that. The Astros last year built their bullpen on guys that maybe going into camp you didn't think were going to be factors and then showed up and were factors. And there's a lot of volatility and there's a lot of variability in the relief market. So they must feel strongly that they can unlock some things in Munoz and get him to where that he can be a viable member of their bullpen all year. Now, I know there's a lot of people thinking, well, what about if he gets hurt? Him getting hurt, it doesn't really affect much as long as he is on the major league injured list. Like it's all about like he's got to be accruing service time. So if he gets hurt in spring training and they put him on the injured list, like he's still with the Astros. The only way that he would have to be offered back to the Reds is if the Astros decide he's unusable, like we can't keep him on the major league roster. We're either going to DFA him, put him on waivers. I should have looked up if he has options left. I doubt he does, but essentially any way of not getting hurt that they would want to get him off the 26-man roster, they would have to offer him back to the Cincinnati Reds, and they would get $50,000 back. So
for those of you who don't, I'm sure most people do, but the purpose of the Rule 5 draft is if a player has been in an organization for 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Yeah. Once you hit that amount of minor league service time and you're still blocked by your own organization, it's essentially a way for these players to have the ability to be selected by another team to be on the major league roster there. So basically it's like, okay, you've been here for, 7 years. We don't have a major league spot. If another team has one for you, go ahead. That's essentially what the purpose of that draft is. And there have been some successful ones. The Astros got Willie Taveras in a Rule 5 draft. Wesley Wright, who was very good for them when they were very bad. But I liked Wesley Wright a lot as a fellow lefty. But the Astros have had a handful of impactful ones. But oftentimes it's guys like these where it's utility infielders or relievers, stuff like that, where if they have a good year, great. But if not, they head back to the team that they were on.
You're forgetting maybe the best Rule 5 draft pick the Astros ever had. It was the first transaction made by Jeff Luhnow as general
Marwin,
manager,
right?
Marwin Gonzalez, Rule 5 pick.
Yeah, it wasn't popping up. I've talked to Jeff about that before, and he claims no credit, obviously, because it was the first day of his job. But it worked out pretty well for him to have that on his ledger of first transaction under his name, getting Marwin. Definitely a good one.
I think they hired him because they finalized his hire at the winter meetings that year.
Yeah.
So I think he got hired like the night before the Rule 5 draft.
Yes.
And so like the next day they took Marwin Gonzalez, and then like 5 years later hits the biggest home run in franchise history.
Mm-hmm.
So, or second biggest, depending on who you want to debate about that issue.
The first was Darryl Ward's grand slam against the Pirates on opening day in 2002 or whenever that was. That one's just burned in my brain forever, and that will always be the biggest home run for some reason in my head.
I mean, if the Astros don't do something here soon, we may have to just have a whole podcast debating like who hit the biggest home run in franchise history, because
Darryl Ward versus Richard Hidalgo. We can bring all that back. That'll be good.
Mike Hampton probably hit a couple.
Oh, I loved Mike Hampton. That was my favorite. I mean, left-handed pitcher, could hit. I loved Mike Hampton. That was my guy. And Sean Barry was my other guy, the utility man. I loved him. I had an autograph of his. We went to like the Kissimmee, spring training when I was a kid, and I have like a Disney autograph book. So I have like Goofy on one page, and then it's like Sean Barry, Jeff Bagwell, Mickey Mouse. So it's a collector's item for sure.
Maybe the one thing we haven't touched on just in anything that we've talked about in the offseason is the Astros do need a backup catcher. I know that's why I saved it for 33 minutes into this, because backup catchers can't carry a podcast. They do have Cesar Salazar, and from talking to people, it sounds like they would be cautiously okay with him being the backup, but that is not what they are planning on. Cesar Salazar is beloved in the clubhouse. His game planning is lauded by a lot of the veteran pitchers. The way he runs pregame meetings, his pregame prep, like he does everything right behind the scenes, like is very convicted in what he goes out there and calls, follows game plans, constructs game plans very well. I do think there is some hesitancy within the organization of maybe overexposing him at the big league level, just in terms of maybe what he does on the field. And because Yainer Diaz is not like Cal Raleigh, and the fact that Cal Raleigh is going to catch 6 days a week. Like you saw it with Victor Caratini last year, like they would prefer if Yainer Diaz caught like 4 to 5 times a week and they play their backup catcher 2 to 3 times a week. I think Yainer started 111 games at catcher last year, which leaves a lot of playing time for the backup. And I don't think they're ready to commit that large of a role to Cesar Salazar. But for the moment, he is the backup catcher. I would expect that they will bring in a more experienced guy to back up Yainer Diaz. As far as Victor Caratini goes, they are interested. They would like to consummate a reunion with him. However, Victor Caratini is going to want a multi-year deal because he just had 2 very good seasons in Houston. And I think there are teams with everyday catcher vacancies that have identified Victor Caratini as a guy that they would like to have on their team. And I think Victor Caratini certainly would prefer to, and this is nothing against the Astros, nothing against the clubhouse here. I think he really liked it here. But I mean, if you're given the opportunity to play regularly, I think you would take that over a backup role. So,
I mean, he would have been a starter on 10 or 15 teams last season. If another team had been able to choose, like he would have started on a good number of the teams.
Yeah. And so, what is interesting is that the Rangers had been a team that I had heard had asked around about him. They needed catching. They have Kyle Higashioka, but got rid of Jonah Heim at the tender deadline. They needed kind of an everyday guy. They just signed Danny Jansen to a 2-year, I think it was $17.5 million deal. Victor Caratini was here on 2 for $12. So that's kind of the market that's going. So while that eliminated one team that needs catching in the Rangers in the Caratini sweepstakes, if you can even call them sweepstakes, it also kind of showed the market here. And I don't think the Astros are about to give Victor Caratini a 2-year deal for $14-15 million. So I think if Caratini does come back to Houston, it would be one of those situations where we get to the end of January, his market has not materialized the way he wanted, and he comes back to the Astros on a deal that they're more comfortable giving, maybe more than what he's demanding right now. So as far as who's out there, Christian Vasquez is a free agent. There is no reporting in this. I have not heard that they're connected to him at all, but that to me profiles as like kind of the perfect guy, just an older guy that knows the staff here, has been here. If you play him twice a week, look, he did not have a good run in Minnesota. It did not work well there, but he's a guy that, again, they traded for him at the deadline a couple years ago for a reason. Like, he's very well thought of in game in terms of prep, in terms of defense. The offense is obviously not going to be what Victor Caratini's was, but I don't think you're going to find a backup catcher out there that's going to have a 100 or above OPS plus and as many at bats as Caratini had. So they could do a lot worse than Christian Vasquez. They could do a lot worse than Jonah Heim, to be honest with you. Jonah Heim looking for a bounce back season. If he'd be amenable to coming in and being a backup, I think they could do a lot worse than that too. So there are options out there, but I think that's kind of the thing that they're going to need to. That's another thing they're going to need to attack. And another thing with Jonah Heim, he's a switch hitter. They need balance. Victor Caratini was a switch hitter. So I think you will see a different backup catcher next year from outside the organization.
Did you hear any rumblings or any talk at all of these meetings that you've been to of how like catcher evaluations are going to change with the new ABS, where framing is no longer, going to be as important as it has been? Like, does that open up the ability to have, a catcher that just has a rocket arm but doesn't catch very well, but who cares? You don't need that anymore.
So did I have those conversations at these meetings?
Are you hearing these things? What are people talking about?
So actually, I wrote about this last year.
I don't read your work.
Of course, who does? I wrote about this a little bit in spring training last year when it became pretty clear that ABS was going to be coming. And I painted it through the lens of Yainer Diaz, who has not always been the greatest framer in the world. But in talking to Michael Collins, who is now no longer on the staff, but one of the things he said that was interesting, and that this kind of transcends Yainer or any catcher for that matter, is like pitchers still want a good presentation of their pitches. Pitchers still want a good target for their pitches. There's still comfort in that. So maybe we're no longer in a place where like you can steal strikes. But pitchers care about the presentation of their pitches. They care about where a catcher sets up. They care about what a catcher has to do to get the ball, where they want it thrown. And also, like, let's be clear here. ABS is not going to be calling every pitch, right? Like, you only get a couple challenges per game. So like if you don't have if your challenges are gone by the 4th inning and you stink at framing, then like you're going to stink for the last 6 innings of the game aren't going to go well, right? So I think it's going to devalue a little bit. I think you're going to stop seeing maybe teams or agents or representatives go into a negotiating table and say, I have the best framing catcher in baseball. He's worth $3 million more a year. And they're like, no. ABS is a thing now. Framing is going to, while becoming de-emphasized a little bit, for all the reasons I just said, for pitcher comfort and for the fact that ABS doesn't cover every pitch, you still need to be able to frame. So
there we go. Boots on the ground. Thank you.
Tyler, anything else we should discuss? I'm kind of at a loss.
We've shown Olivia all 3 versions of the Grinch. Those movies. She prefers the newest one with the Tyler the Creator song. She says that one is the real one. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but that's the one that she's determined is the real one. So I can update you on that.
I didn't know there were many versions of the Grinch. I knew there was the one. I knew there was one that Jim Carrey did like 10 years ago, but I didn't know that.
It was like 20 years ago. But there's also, the original like animated one that is like hand drawn, and then now there's like a computer animated one with Benedict Cumberbatch. He's pretty good in it. Kenan Thompson is in it. But yeah, so we've seen all of those. Those are her opinions on those songs or on those movies. She did not like the Jim Carrey one. She thought it was scary, which is fair. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are her rankings thus far.
This is more important than anything we've discussed already. We have a new promo code on Crush City Territory.
I saw your product placement throughout. You were crushing it.
If you want one of these mugs, if you're watching on YouTube, first of all, like the video. It's 41 minutes. It's 41 minutes in, so no one's going to like it. But like the video if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like button down below. That's all you have to do. If you want a coffee mug like this and you don't want to pay full price for it, crushcityterritoryshop.com/promo/holiday. That is crushcityterritoryshop.com /promo/holiday. And we've got, like we've talked about, we've got pretty much everything you can think of. We've got backpacks, we've got hoodies, we've got lightweight hoodies, we've got beanies, we've got t-shirts, we've got coffee mugs, we've got water bottles, notebooks, anything you want. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can scan the QR code. It'll take you to crushcityterritoryshop.com. And again, the promo code is holiday. That's crushcityterritoryshop.com /promo/holiday. Maybe by the next time we record, we'll have a ton of orders roll in. History suggests no, but who knows? Things can change. Christmas is only 2 weeks away. So if you need anything, crushcityterritoryshop.com /promo/holiday. Thank you for people that have already bought things there. Thank you. For the people that will buy things there, thank you in advance. And for the people that listen to this, thank you so much. As always, you can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford. Please rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and like every video that you watch on the YouTube channel. We'll be back next week when hopefully the Astros have done something so we can have some things to talk about. But until then, we hope you enjoyed meeting and getting to know Ryan Weiss. It was a great interview. Appreciate him taking some time. We will be back next week. And until then, have a good day.
We're going up, up, up. This is our moment. Bye.